Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to the AstroEnergy show for April 8th, 2015. My name is Shelley Overton, and I am an intuitive astrologer living in Orlando, Florida, and I'm looking out at a very lovely day. It is about 87 degrees, a little bit warm, but you know what? All is right with the world now, and you know why? Because Jupiter went direct today. I'm very excited. I can't even tell you how excited I am. I'm so excited that Jupiter went direct, and we'll get to that in a second. So if you would like to get a hold of me, please do check out my Facebook page. I have an AstroEnergy page, an astrologer angel page, and also a page for Angelic Zodiac, which is another site that I have. And you can get me that way. I have links to readings, so if you are interested in finding out the different types of readings I have, that's there. And let's see, so let's get started. It is an amazing day. I have, here in Orlando, we have a 25-degree Virgo rising at the moment. And the North Node is at 9 degrees Libra in the first house, and the South Node, Ergo, is at 9 degrees Aries in the 7th house. We have Moon conjunct Saturn, but just past an exact conjunction. So the Moon conjuncted Saturn today. It's in Sagittarius, and Saturn's at 4 degrees. The Moon is at 8 degrees. Saturn is retrograde. He is in conjunct to Mars in Taurus right now. And so there's going to be discomfort between authority and more of an aggressive, I wouldn't say child energy, but it's the Mars in Taurus is about value. So it's about money and value, and Saturn is about the authority figure and your boss. So if you've been feeling like you need a raise, today would be a very bad day to ask for a raise because Mars is thinking about money, but Saturn is having nothing to do with being asked about getting a raise. Saturn is in Sagittarius. There is a freedom energy about it. So it's about, again, Sagittarius energy is about not being tied down. And now that Saturn's retrograde, there's probably more feeling like I can't get away. So we'll all have that somewhere in our charts. And Saturn is pulling back, going back towards Scorpio, which he will enter, I believe it's going to be at the end of June. So we're going to have that energy building towards the Scorpionic energy here. And he goes back into Scorpio on the 16th of June. So we still have a couple months, actually, before we're right into the middle of that. And it's 2.5, 3 months of that. So it'll be June, 15th, 16th, through the end of September before he's actually out again. And he goes direct in August 1st. But he actually will be all the way in Scorpio until the 18th of September. So it's going to be a good long time, a 3-month sojourn back into Scorpio. So really right now with Mars and Taurus and the energy, it is about money. Venus is at 26 degrees Taurus, wrapping up certain desires, understanding what those desires are. And interestingly, getting close to the degree of opposition to where Saturn will be when he gets all the way back as far as he's going to go into Scorpio, which is 28 degrees. So coming up in the next day or so, we'll see Venus right there at 28. I just bit my tongue. 28 degrees of Taurus in the degree of opposition to Scorpio Saturn, which means that some of that energy is triggering that point with Venus, and so it's about value. I can't stress it enough, but like how you interact with other people, and do you think that you're getting what you feel you're worth, and are people treating you in a way that is how you believe you should be treated. So all of that is coming up right now. We have Pluto still in Capricorn. I'll say that every week for the next decade, but Pluto's in Capricorn. He's in conjunct to Jupiter today, and Jupiter, yay, is direct, but I'll get to that in a minute because I will talk to you about it. Pluto is squaring the Sun, but it's 3 degrees past the exact point, so the Sun is moving away from Pluto. Sun squaring Pluto means that we have a lot of ego issues, and of course it's in Aries. It's that fresh, new energy that comes in with the beginning of the zodiac, wanting to create, wanting to make something, wanting to not be told what to do. And interestingly, I was reading just before the show the news stories on Facebook about the Ferguson verdict, and also there was another police incident again. So that's all Aries, and especially Aries square Pluto. I'm just looking here. Officer faces murder charge from a traffic stop in South Carolina. So anyway, yeah, Aries is, and I've been saying this a lot lately because I guess, repetition pounds it home to those who are learning astrology. But, it's officers, firemen, anything with fire energy, anything with masculine energy, assertion of your drive, of your interests, asserting yourself. So, of course, Mars, which rules Aries, is in Taurus, but he's more likely to voice concern for whatever issues are related to, well, it's interesting because Taurus is a feminine sign, Mars is a masculine energy. Taurus is very stubborn, and Mars in Taurus means that we're going to set our feet in the dirt and we're not going to budge, especially as Mars approaches the middle 10 degrees of the sign. Right now he's at 6, so it's still fresh, but it is still like cardinal energy for that particular sign. So it's about change and shift, and it has to do with money. Then when he hits about 10 degrees, 11 degrees of Taurus, which is going to be the 15th of April, of course, tax day, we're going to have like that stubborn energy really set in, and not going to give an inch. So yeah, anyway, so we have Uranus in Aries conjunct by 1 degree 16, and Mercury at 17 Aries, and then the Sun at 18, so 16, 17, 18, and they are in order of speed going reverse. So in other words, Uranus takes the longest to go through a sign. He's at 16. Mercury is quicker than the Sun, not the quickest, but quicker than the Sun. And he is, because obviously from the universal perspective, the Sun doesn't move, but from our perspective, the Sun does move. So that's what it is based on. So Mercury is at 17 and the Sun is at 18. So the Sun has already gone past. Actually, you know what? I'm going to double check that. I don't know why. I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, which one does go faster? Mercury is pretty quick. So, yeah, Mercury is going to fly by the Sun. So my fault, my bad. Yeah, he's going to fly by, on the 11th. So, but today he is between Uranus and the Sun, and that can mean accidents from taking action very quickly and not paying attention. It's more taking action, thinking later. So just be careful with that. All of that energy, lovely, Uranus, Mercury, and the Sun is squaring Jupiter. And now, as of today, like I said, Jupiter is direct. So that means he is no longer in retrograde. He is going to take a little bit of time over the next week, 15 days, to really get up to speed. But that means that he is no longer going backwards, and he is going to be able to give us more of those wonderful benefits that being in Leo and just his true nature can provide. And at the same time, he is in a wide trine to Uranus at 16. And, my program has it at 8 degrees. If they're within 8 degrees of an aspect, it'll show a trine. So my program shows Sun, Mercury, and Uranus all trining Jupiter. but they are actually past. He's approaching Uranus, but Mercury and Jupiter will not be in trine to him anymore because they're going too fast for him. So what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that our fire energy is feeling really good, and the moon is at 8 degrees today, so there is a grand trine going on by sign, and it's really not that far off. By later tonight, probably closer to bedtime, the moon will be right there in more of an exact trine in the teens, in the degrees of the teens to Jupiter and then Uranus and Mercury and the sun. So we're going to feel tonight that we're on fire, so to speak, and that things are going a lot smoother for us now in some aspects. But again, Saturn retrograde in fire is kind of being a little stodgy. That Saturn retrograde to Jupiter direct. So interestingly, the Saturn retrograde is taking Sagittarius' energy, which he's in, which is Jupiter. Jupiter, fun-loving, travel, all that. Yesterday, Jupiter was retrograde, and last week he was retrograde, and of course Saturn was retrograde. So it was much more stopped-up fire energy, very frustrated, wanting to express, can't express, wanting to expand, move forward, do the next thing that you have on your list, and having everything come to you the way it needs to come. Now, Saturn is still retrograde, but Jupiter is in trine to the moon and all the other, the sun, Mercury, and Uranus. So now that happened, he is actually infusing more of his energy to the moon and the sun as the moon pulls away from Saturn. So Saturn's kind of like, shaking the finger at you, saying, you have to do this, you have to do that. You have to take ownership of what you're saying, what you're doing, how you're behaving, and everything about ownership and autonomy. So it's not a fun energy for Sagittarius. It's not a fun energy for anybody with Sagittarius sun or planets, because it's like you've got these chains on you and it's not going the way you want it to go. There are positive aspects to Saturn and Sagittarius retrograde, because while he goes forward, he's taking to task all the Sagittarius energy. While he's retrograde, he can ease up a bit, but he also pulls away from people, which Sagittarius is a people energy, likes to connect. And now that he's retrograde, it's kind of like, this is uncomfortable. I don't want to be around people, or I might not feel as comfortable being the spotlight that I was while Saturn was direct. And so Jupiter, though, will make up for it, because Jupiter, he, again, rules Sagittarius, but he's in Leo, and Leo loves the spotlight. Leo wants the attention. Leo wants to connect. And wherever Jupiter falls, he's expanding that realm. He's saying, let's have more drama. Let's have more creativity. Let's have more things going on with children, more interaction with children. Let's relate. We want to relate. We want to talk. We want to connect. And the only thing is, he is now starting to square Mars. And so Mars is taking action, and Mars in Taurus is very responsible, very pragmatic, and can be dogmatic. And Jupiter just wants to kind of skim the surface and have a happy-go-lucky, good time, fun. He's a party man. And so when Mars gets out of Taurus and into Gemini, then they will be talking the same language again. And that happens in May. So it'll be May 13th. After May 13th, then, of course, there's going to be a sextile between Jupiter and Mars, which is a positive aspect. And they will be working in tandem. So we'll be talking, we'll be having fun, we'll be socializing, we'll be basically connecting to other people and looking at the bigger picture. Jupiter wants the big picture. He's not too keen on the details, and that's why anybody with Sagittarius planets squaring Virgo planets, and sometimes Gemini. Gemini is about the details in the sense of thought and concepts, where Virgo's about the details. No, look at, you didn't cross your T or dot your I. They're very much about the minutia in the material world. So so come May, we're going to have a little bit easier time with Mars and Jupiter. And then also Mars will be opposing Saturn briefly, but he will be working in tandem. Again, even though Saturn is retrograde, it's going to be in opposition to Mars, but I always look at oppositions as synergistic, and that means that they work together, they work in tandem, and they work for ways to balance things out. Of course, they can also mean that there is an opposition, and if you look at your environment, you may see other people that are giving you a difficult time, but ultimately, all the aspects will give you something. You'll grow from all of them, and that's why they're there, is to give you a new perspective and help you grow. Okay, so I think, let's see, Jupiter. So wherever Jupiter falls in your chart, wherever you've been feeling disconnected, disassociated from people, it will now bring more of that happy-go-lucky energy. You can take risks. I've been talking so much about Jupiter going direct for the last month, but now it's finally here as of today. So anyone with Leo in their chart, it's going to accent that. And I have to tell you a little story. Since Jupiter was first direct, when he first went into Leo last year, my son started feeling a little bit. My son is a Leo, by the way. And he has Mercury in Leo as well. So he was feeling a little bit more friendly towards people. He's a bit shy at this age, but he was starting to, really get more friends, starting to come out of his shell, be more social. And then Jupiter went retrograde, and he pulled back. He didn't want to go out anywhere, and all this. Well, literally today, and he's also not come over to my house a lot since I moved because he's dealing with his own inner issues. But today he called me and he wants to do a mask for. So number one, he's called me, which is really big, that he's come around. So that's a Leo energy, your children. And then he's going to go to MegaCon this weekend, which is the big convention for people who do cosplay, which is costume play. So they dress up, and he's asking me to help him with his costume. So I'm very happy. Jupiter is direct, and now that connection is really making him come out of his shell again, and now he's connecting to friends. So as a mother, that's a really wonderful thing. And so, yeah, I think it's really going to be good. I'm really happy that we have this energy and fire. It's going to be a good time through September when Jupiter goes into Virgo. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about today was Pisces. It is the last sign of the zodiac of my series on sun signs. And so Pisces is a water sign. It rules the 12th house of the zodiac. It rules the feet, and it rules things which are hidden, things that are subconscious, subliminal, ethereal. It is an energy that makes us slow down, maybe a little tired, perceived as lazy. It isn't lazy. It is, instead, it's the opposite sign to Virgo. And I use that. So Virgo is the worker sign of the zodiac, along with probably Taurus and Sagittarius likes work too, but Gemini. So anyway, so Pisces gets things done through using the ethereal realm. So it is very subtle, and it keys into the ethers, to energies that aren't readily available if we're completely in the left brain, going day to day, going out in our jobs, listening to the radio, dealing with traffic, doing all the physical, pragmatic, physical world things that we do day to day. We can easily tune out Neptune because we're just like, I am busy. I don't have time for that. Well, because Neptune takes so long to go through a sign, he is going to take about 14 years to go through the sign. He will leave, I believe I looked it up multiple times, in 2025. So that's a long time. I mean, that's a decade from now, and he's already at 8 degrees. So he's been there for a while. And so that means that we are really learning the subtle lessons of Neptune. And that means that we have to pay attention to our dreams, pay attention to our imaginations, to our visions, to the ability to see things in our mind, to imagine what it is we want, and that is where we need to focus, and that's Pisces. Pisces people are keyed into this. Usually, they're very keyed in. Definitely, there are those who struggle with it. I mean, my Saturn is in Pisces, so there's a bit of restriction with that. But those with Saturn in Pisces are also being asked to take the ethereal and bring it down into the tangible world, which is what Saturn does. It gives it structure. It makes it more physical. So other than Saturn, that energy of Pisces is very much psychic, sensitive. They rule the 12th house, which means they can run away when it gets to be too much, too overwhelming. And definitely Pisces energy, Neptune energy, can get overwhelmed by other people's energy because they're empathic. They pick up everything. They have no boundaries. It's about boundary issues. If you have strong Pisces in your chart, you will find that you are very empathic, and that means a breakdown of the boundaries. I mean, my Neptune is in the first house, and it's conjunct the moon. So I tend to be a person who takes on everybody's everything and look for solutions, which makes me really good at astrology. But it can also mean that, especially if you're like that, you have to ground. You have to envision roots going out of your feet. I know it sounds silly, but hug a tree, because trees can be very energetically grounding. Walk in the grass with your shoes off. Let your feet feel the ground. And that's the other thing. The feet do ground, and they pull energy up from the earth. So grounding is a really, really big thing for Pisces energy. So let's see what else. So you can also do a lot of work in the realm of Neptune when you're asleep, and you may be able to just tune in to people psychically if you're a Pisces, and you're really good with mediumistic work. So there's a lot that comes from Pisces, and we are not necessarily at that point where we understand Pisces a great deal yet, but Pluto is on the heels of Neptune going through Capricorn, then he hits Aquarius, and just after that, in about 20 years, which is kind of a ways away, but for younger generations, it's not that far away. And around 20 years from now, he's going to be in Pisces, and when he gets into Pisces, we're all going to really have a complete shift. Those who are here at that time are going to feel that energy, that kind of daydreamy energy is going to be much more palpable than it is today. And I'm looking at my ephemera, so it happens, this is so far off, but I'll be 80 years old. It happens in January 19th of 2044, if you can even imagine that year. That's just mind-boggling. But anyway, enough about Pisces, and I'm about to take some calls here. So let's see what we have on the lines. Hi, 111. Who is this?
Hello, Shelley. This is Dee. I used to call in from 207.
Oh, okay, great.
6306.
Right. You called a week or two ago, right?
Yes, and I have kind of a new issue that's kind of very scary.
Okay, what's your issue?
Before I ask my question, about a few years ago, I had an astrologer friend asking me questions, saying she'd rectify my chart, and she had me for 4 a.m.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you want to use that.
Well,
by
I can
asking
look
me
at
questions,
it.
I don't. Okay.
Sure. Oh, you
just
gave me a sunrise. Okay, so she did it for 4 o'clock a.m. I'll do that and see what we get.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got a Leo rising?
Yes.
This chart. Okay. Okay, wonderful. So what's your question?
Well, I went to the doctor back in October for some general tests, and she wanted to have my thyroid tested because she saw something. They said they'd try to get in touch with me, but I must never got the message. I went to them today for follow-up, for a general checkup, and my test came back that I have a bunch of lumps or something on one of my thyroid, one on the left side, and she's talking about possible cancer and things like that, and she wants me to go for more tests, and I want to know if you see anything dark in my chart.
Well, definitely Pluto coming up towards your Saturn. I mean, it's a little bit wide, but it's still within 8 degrees of your Saturn, and that's in your house of health. So that is owning, like in Capricorn, it's in the sign of Capricorn, so Saturn rules Capricorn, so it's about the physical body, it's about the structure, and it's your Saturn is 5 degrees, about 5 degrees off of Jupiter in Capricorn as well. So you are potentially going to be having some health issues coming up in the next 5 or 6 years, like total. Not that you're not going to feel it now, but of course we have been having, a lot of those other transits. Interestingly, Mercury is really close to the Sun and Uranus, which means that you are finding out information, and of course it's in trine to Jupiter, and Jupiter just went direct today. When did you talk? You went to the doctor, you said?
I found out this news at 4 o'clock, just about
today.
An hour
Interesting.
And a half. Yes.
Yeah, so that's Jupiter, expanding awareness. I really have, I don't know how much I should tell you because I have really strong opinions about health and holism. Do you do anything holistic?
The only thing I started doing for myself is drinking the cider vinegar recently, the one with the mom on the label, and mixing that with honey. And I don't, that's about, I used to take Bach flower remedy a while ago. I haven't done that in years.
Okay.
So I wouldn't even know. I'll tell you, I'm concerned because I have a 15-year-old daughter, and I really don't want to go anywhere yet, if you know what I mean.
No, I totally understand. You don't have anything directly where I would look at, anything happening. Let me see. You're in a trine to Pluto. Where's your Jupiter? Your Jupiter, I just said, was in Capricorn. Okay. And then you have a square to Libra, and you have no planets in Aries. So really, you don't have any direct... Neptune is so slow, and that's the next major influence going into your house of death and rebirth, and I don't see that happening for a while. It's 7 degrees away, which is years, and even so, I don't generally see... Personally, I don't see it as much about going in as going out. So I think it's more you just, you're approaching the Virgo energy. I shouldn't say that. Mercury is the ruler of the house of health. I can't even get the words out today. It's your health house. So Mercury rules that. And it's just approaching the Sun. So that tells me that there's more ego involved here, and as opposed to, and I am not a doctor, I'm going to qualify that right now, that I'm just telling you my personal opinion, and that you're finding out the information so you can do something about it. And thyroid is right near the throat. Mars is in Taurus now. Venus is about to go out. And of course, Venus, interestingly, is in the house that Capricorn naturally rules, which is your 10th house. So that's the throat. That's interesting. Let's see, that's in Taurus. That squares Leo. Jupiter's in Leo, squaring Mars. So I do think that something's probably going to come about, like you're going to find out more information about it. And, I see more positive aspects overall. I don't see anything glaring that sticks out at me in your chart about, a transition. The closest thing I would say to something happening, and not at all to engage fear, because that's not at all what I do. I don't like to do that. But there are energies with Pluto hitting your Jupiter later on. It's like 28 degrees, and that's like 2023. That's nowhere near. It's far off,
she really upset me because, I have a very high cholesterol, and over the past few years I brought it down a bit with losing weight and exercising, and I'm trying to do the right thing. But she wants me to take these cholesterol pills. I'm already on medicine for high sugar. I brought my sugar down. I'm on a water pill for high blood pressure. And this cholesterol pill, I'm just afraid these pills, And this woman keeps
Right.
throwing the word heart attack and cancer me, heart attack. And, okay, fine. Well, I don't want to. I just have to tell you this information because I don't, in case you have a heart attack. Oh, that's heart attack numbers.
Right.
And she really scares the hell out of me. I mean, and with this, with the cancer now, I mean, I can't take it.
Right. You know what? I can't recommend anything like, again, in professional capacity, but I can tell you this week, literally, I just watched a wonderful video on YouTube. A woman does holistic health, and she was discussing something. It's a hormone that in postmenopausal women called T2, and she said a couple different things. She said iodine, which a lot of us are lacking in iodine. You can put one little drop of iodine on your wrist once a day, and it will help with the thyroid, which I know that there are thyroid therapies include iodine. Also, she was saying that this T2 hormone, which is produced by the ovaries when you go through menopause, it stops being produced, and then that can also throw the absorption of, I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing, so I may be getting it wrong, which is another reason why I'm just giving you the overall idea that the T2 hormone works in tandem with T3, which the thyroid produces, and iodine is needed for the thyroid and then the T2 to help the whole cycle complete, and that can actually help you lose weight too. So I will tell you, her link is A Place to Heal, which is on YouTube. And you can also, I think you can, type in thyroid. The title, off the top of my head, it had thyroid and sweating in it. It's like a 40-minute holistic video, and she talks all about this. So it's also something that I'm looking into too, just because I want to balance out my hormones in my system. And I'm so into holism. I mean, I don't want to get into like a whole medical thing discussing,
I don't like doctors.
Stuff,
I don't like doctors. Yeah. I don't like doctors. And every time you go, they find something else.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you my personal belief system is if you look for something, don't be surprised when you find it. So I'm not saying don't be aware of the signals your body's telling you, which absolutely will guide you in what you need to pay attention to. And definitely if you think something is a red flag, by all means, go seek out help for it. So I'm just saying that, in day-to-day living, if you are aware of these things and you seek out some of the information, you can try out more holistic things. But again, if you're seeing a doctor, I mean, it's just a touchy area, but I do believe that our bodies are designed to work properly, and when they're out of alignment, that's when we see issues. So seek out what you can do to put it back in alignment, and pay attention to what they're saying. But I guess what I'm saying is temper it. Okay. Yeah. So if you can find out information, the internet is an amazing place to arm yourself with information. So I would not go into it being like, and I'm sure these doctors these days are just going, I'm so over the internet because every patient comes in telling me all about my business, but that's kind of the world we live in now. So
yes.
Coming up towards August, you have Jupiter going into your first house conjunct Uranus. So it can be you're going to get information. You're probably going to get more information. Actually, I'm going to just tell you when Jupiter goes into your first house. It's going to be the 11th of June. So even this summer, more information will come your way about it. But I do have to say Jupiter squares Taurus. Taurus rules the throat, and Jupiter's in Leo. So, there are issues in the first house that could bring out more information. Like Jupiter going into the first house, bringing it out into the light, and conjunct Uranus is going to be about more information for you. And so, there's probably therapy on the horizon, especially probably closer to September, October timeframe. Jupiter will be right there on your Sun in Virgo, and that's telling me that, you're going to be triggering some expansion of Virgo issues, and that's health and the workplace or whatever. But yeah, so it's about getting healthy. And right now Jupiter's in your 12th house of the hidden. So when he gets there mid-June, you're going to have even more information to arm yourself with. Okay? So I guess ultimately just temper it. Don't let fear rule your life. I mean, I don't think, well, number one, fear is not going to be healthy for you anyway. Okay?
I know. I just don't like the way she delivers the news. I really don't like the way she delivers the news.
Well, and if you have a feeling about that, seek out somebody else who you have a better vibration with, who, in other words, absolutely pay attention to your inner voice. Okay?
Well, also, I think she's very good at what she does, so that's why I put up with it. Because she saw this just by looking at me. She was looking at me and she saw something on my neck. She thought I should have my thyroid tested, which is something nobody else saw, and I didn't even notice myself. So
well,
I'm on the fence with this.
Allie in the chat room said that she's been watching a series about a natural way of curing cancer, and it's called The Truth About Cancer, and I'm not sure, Allie, if you want to put in the chat room, what exactly, is it internet or is it TV? I don't know where it is, but yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, but I know that there are certain foods that can help combat cancer. I'm just giving you information, for whatever the outcome, to be aware. And I personally am more inclined to eat certain foods, and those would be avocados, walnuts, and asparagus, because they have they help the body fight off the cancer. And cancer is abnormal development of cells. But anyway, if you eat healthier, your body will have the power to start fending off some of the things. And honestly, it's a holistic thing. It's not just one thing or another. It's like a way of living life. You have to be in a place of meditation or calm. You have to find mental peace. You have to exercise. You have to eat right. And it's what they've always been saying. You have to be... you have to seek out a life that is healthy. If you go in the chat room, she posted the link to it. I guess it's online. So if you can get in the chat room, there's a link that you can follow. But, I am a proponent of, if you don't feel in alignment with people who you trust your health and life to, then you find people who you do trust and who you feel in alignment with. And if you express your concerns and she ignores them, then that's a red flag to me. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Please let me know how it goes. I don't like diagnosing, especially on a quick read on the air. That's something that I would much rather talk privately about, because it's just it is a personal, serious issue that I honestly I don't like to get into too deeply on the radio. So
can I ask you something? Do you see anything good in my chart that pops out? Anything? Anything? I don't care what it is. Anything good.
Jupiter's good, I think, because Jupiter is in a very lucky energy. So I would say, if you tune in, if you get numbers for the lotto in your sleep, write them down. Mars is coming up to your midheaven, and in the next week or two, he's going to be triggering career and money with career. So I think that's really positive for you. So, let me see. What else? Where's your Venus? Yeah, Venus is in career. So right now, I think once Mars gets up there closer to midheaven, he's right on it. He's within 4 degrees of your midheaven. So that should be some money coming your way. And also work, or, money and work.
Good.
So.
Good.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
Take a breath. Don't get all bent out of shape and put all your energy in fear, but pay attention, be, conscientious, and, listen to what people have to say, and then follow your inner voice. And, you want to take care of yourself, but you want to be aware of what people have to say and cautious, and, I think that's the best advice.
Well, I didn't see this comment. I didn't see this coming, and she asked if it runs in my family, and that's the thing. I'm adopted. I don't have my medical history.
Oh. Yeah, well, that makes it a little bit more difficult to figure out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I can tell you, you might want to consider getting the DNA workup. I'm not sure if it tells medical, but you can get the DNA kit through Ancestry.com.
Yeah.
And it's like $100, and it'll tell you all about other.
It traces your family lineage, like what your racial and background is.
Okay.
I know some people had it done. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I wish you the best. Please do keep in touch and let me know how it goes.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
I will. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Sure. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I am going to try and find my way over here to the break, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes. And welcome back. You are listening to the AstroEnergy Show on Blog Talk Radio, and my name is Shelley Overton, and it is very lovely to have you here on this wonderful spring, April 8th day. So we're going to go back to the phone line and see who else we can help. 510. Hi, who is this?
Hi there, this is Camille.
Hi, Camille. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'd like a little compatibility report.
Okay.
Can I give you the other person's? Yeah.
Yeah,
the other
sure.
person's
Hang on
information.
Okay. Just a second. I'll get a chart page up here for you.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, his birthday is August the 17th, 1985 at 3:45 p.m.
Okay.
Born
Where?
in San Francisco, California, but he now lives in Denham Springs, Louisiana.
Okay, well, I'm going to just do his birthplace for our purposes. I'm not going to get into that much detail with this. I mean, I'm going to just go by his birth chart because, you know me, if I get on a tangent, I'll be there all day. So
okay.
It'll be a very long reading once I get off on that tangent. Okay, let's see here. So you want a compatibility. Let me see.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to just do a real quick flip to see. His rising sign is Sagittarius, and so is yours. So that's a good thing. Okay, you have Neptune in Sagittarius. He has Uranus in Sagittarius, and both in the 12th house. So he may approach things a little bit more mentally than you do. You approach it in a very visceral, the Neptune energy, the watery, emotional way, and he approaches it in a more cut and dry, kind of a detached way. But you both have these really strong energies at the same area of your chart. Let me see what else I see here for Venus. So he has the same Venus. He has his Venus on your Sun, and actually even closer to your Mercury. That's good. So there's communication and romance. He's got, wow, you have a lot of heavy energies going on. He's got his Pluto on Uranus, on your Uranus. So it seems to me like while it isn't necessarily a direct power struggle, there are energies of like tremendous amount of power within your lives. I mean, like the combination, you guys just kind of, it's like more of a generational, it's not even a generational thing. I'm trying to say what it is. So for you, like the Uranus and Scorpio, you have this amazing ability to cut to the heart of the matter, and you just channel energy, and information in a clear, cognizant way. And he's got Pluto in Scorpio within 1 degree of Uranus, of your Uranus. So that he's got like a natural ability to just cut through the BS, but it's also associated with, he's more likely, I would think, to brood about things, and you're more likely to just walk away or be more nonchalant about it. Even though you are a deep person, I think you're more likely to just say, you know what, fine. If it makes it easier, I'll do that. Let's see what else. His moon is on your Mars, so within 11 degrees, excuse me. So you've got Mars in Virgo, and he's got moon in Virgo. Moon in Virgo can be a little bit difficult, although you do have Mars in Virgo. But the moon in Virgo may make him a little bit cold in some respect when it comes to being nurturing and seeing your side of things. He'll present a more left brain way. He isn't as inclined to be all fuzzy about it. But he is also someone with a Venus in Cancer. He does have a nurturing side, and I think he appreciates women, and he appreciates how you are, like how women can be nurturers. But I think he himself may have had a mom who wasn't as warm and fuzzy, because the moon represents your mother, and so she may have been a little bit more task-oriented, work-oriented, and not as available to give him as much as he wanted. I think he has a stronger connection to his father, and he has Mercury, Mars, and Sun in Leo, so there's a certain amount of ego, of course, associated with how he lives his life. But he's generous. Again, Mars in Leo is generous, but he can be, he's the kind of guy who's probably going to be a little bit sensitive, and when he gets his feelings hurt, he won't necessarily tell you what it's about, but he'll kind of run and hide. And because you have Venus, Sun, and Mercury in Cancer, you'll understand that. Like, you can relate to him going, wait a minute, if he's not talking to me, something happened. Either he's feeling sensitive, he's feeling overwhelmed, or he's feeling like his feelings were hurt and you didn't understand it. He has Mars in Leo, so he can give a very good show of, I'm the center of attention and I don't need anybody, but he does need someone. I think he does want a family. Looking at his chart, he only has Uranus and Sagittarius, and that means this guy's an entrepreneur and he needs to be doing his thing. Like subconsciously he has Uranus and Sagittarius, so he might be inclined to go places that have a deeper spiritual meaning as opposed to just wanting to travel for the sake of travel. And then he has Neptune in Capricorn, so he's going to be he has a 1 degree Neptune in Capricorn retrograde, so that means that he's kind of still just getting used to the structure, and he went through a hard time in 2008. So when Pluto hit that Neptune, it was like a big old wake-up call, life change for him. And let's see, Jupiter in Aquarius. Again, Jupiter in Aquarius can be a little bit detached. Not gonna lie, they can have. I mean, it's kind of interesting. He kind of blows hot and cold in some sense, according to his chart. He's got the depth of Scorpio, and he's got the heat, 3 fire signs, the Leo planets, and then one with the Sagittarius. But then he has the coolness of Neptune in Capricorn and a little bit detachment from Jupiter in Aquarius. So he's got issues in his life that relate to how he is seen in the work environment. Like, he may have a hard time really. Is he a lawyer? I would just wonder. Saturn and Scorpio. No. He has really strong inclination towards getting to the heart of things and things, like law, politics, and what was the other one? Things that relate to goods of the dead. Honestly, he could be a mortician if he really wanted to. That's something that is covered under Saturn and Scorpio. I know, it's kind of funny, but there are morticians, and I've had someone on the air who wanted to become or do embalming, or was doing embalming, so it's kind of interesting. Yeah, what is it specifically you want me to tell you? Because I mean, I could go all the way around the chart and give you a whole reading, but we gotta kind of sustain.
Well, he just came back into my life on Sunday. And
okay.
So I'm
he was
just
feeling
wondering.
Jupiter.
There you go, and I'm sure so was I.
Yeah.
And we deeply cared about each other for the past 5 years or something. So I'm just wondering if this is something that, based on everything that's going on in our deep friendship, could this have potential to be something more?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does.
Okay.
Because Jupiter is going to go across Mars and Sun in his house of commitment, because his rising sign isn't far off of yours. Yeah, so he's got his natal Saturn at 4 degrees Leo, and Jupiter right now is just about to hit his Mercury, his Mars, and Mars is taking action. So, expansion of wanting a commitment from friendship. Leo rules friendship, and that's in his house of commitment, marital commitment. So, I mean, there are a lot of connections for you guys, and quite honestly, I do a lot of compatibilities and looking into this kind of thing, and there is no perfect, but he's got a lot of good potential in his chart for you. I mean, you guys both have like a strong desire to travel. You both have a love of children or childlike energy. Your Saturn's in Leo. I think he sees like the side of you that reminds him of his father, believe it or not, and that and there might even be some mother in there too, because you have planets straddling both his mother's house and his father's house. So I think he definitely connects to you on a holistic, like you've got the masculine and the feminine side of, like, when we date people, we bring together aspects of our parents. And sometimes, I mean, for me, I tend to think that we always go to the parent that is the difficult one so that we work out those issues. But you have planets of both Cancer and Leo, and that falls right across his house of marriage and partnership and commitment to marriage and partner. So, I think you definitely, he sees probably more, well, this is the funny thing, because he has Leo in the house of the father. Let's see. Yeah, Leo would be in his house of father, and that's where you have Saturn and Venus. So there's definitely a connection, but his house of the mother is the Cancer, and he's got his Venus there, and you've got Mercury and Sun there, and you also have Venus and Cancer, but that falls into your house of his father. So, most of his energy is on the father side. That's how he's going to express himself. So,
and he is a dad already, and I have a child already, so we're both coming into this with children.
Yeah, well, that's good. I definitely think if you have children, having a partner with children, they understand it. It's like you don't have to explain it. So I think that's beneficial. And he has Mars and Leo. He's definitely somebody who likes being around children, likes that childlike energy. He's very creative and expressive in that more whimsical, what's going to happen. And Uranus and Sagittarius and trine to his Mars, he's going to be, he could be a little erratic when it comes to where he's at, like he might travel or he might, like, he could even, I know it sounds kind of odd, but astral travel. he could probably really
yeah.
do amazing astral travel with his chart.
No, he did that on Friday night. That's,
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck. Let me know how that goes. It sounds really interesting and promising. Okay. Take care.
Okay.
You're welcome.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's take 505. Hi, 505. How are you?
Hi, Shelley.
Hi.
Hi. I've enjoyed listening to you. This is Patricia.
Thank you. Hi, Tricia. So what can I do for you today?
Well, I wanted to find out what's coming for me now that Jupiter has gone direct, and I just feel this need of freedom, and I felt restricted in my job.
Okay, let's see where it falls. So you were born January 24th, and so you've got a Virgo rising, 13 degrees, and you also, so that was similar to the last caller, but you have Jupiter just hitting inside, literally inside, by 1 minute. So the cusp of your 12th house is 12 degrees, 34 minutes, and Jupiter is at 12 degrees, 35 minutes right now. So it literally just turned direct inside that cusp. So it is about owning that creative, childlike side that you have not expressed. That's what it's about. Jupiter wants to expand the subconscious. It wants to expand the subliminal, the thing that's hidden, the thing that you haven't paid attention to, and the thing that's going to feed your soul, okay? And it's 6 degrees off of your natal Mars, which you have Mars at 18, Leo. So it's going to be expanding the desire to do something about it. And when you're talking wanting to travel, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, the Jupiter retrograde and the Saturn retrograde was really difficult because it was detaching us from other people. And Sagittarians love social energy. They love to be in a group of fun-loving people. And Leo is the center of attention. So even though you have Leo in the 12th house, it tends to make you more... Internally, you want to connect to people, but you might want to do it more in your house or in quiet situations. You're not as much, I need the spotlight, I want to be out, I want to have everybody paying attention to me. You need to connect one-on-one. And so Jupiter is wanting to give that to you, and also, of course, Jupiter is travel. So, going someplace nice, spending a weekend away, or going someplace one-on-one with someone would be really the thing that would fit the bill in your chart. So,
Okay.
And then Saturn's going to go direct. Let me see how long it takes to get. What the heck did I do with my ephemeris? There it is. Sorry. So you need Saturn to get back to 11 degrees, and then he's going to go into your house of home and family, but that won't be till next year, so that's a little ways off for you. Let me just look at when that is, because it's a significant time for you. So, yeah, he'll be there in March, and he's going to retrograde at that point. Actually, he's even going to be there. I'm sorry, hang on, I'm looking at a different planet. Yeah, he'll be there at the end of February. So that's going to be a big time. Actually, you know what? I had that degree wrong. It was 11. I was looking at 15. Give me a second. Sorry. Okay, so January. So, yeah, coming up in January, you're really going to... I wouldn't be surprised if you decide to move. Saturn will be hitting the cusp of your house of home and family, and then right after that, he's going to go across your Venus. And over the course of next year, back and forth, he's going to go back and forth over your Venus, and that's desire. And your desire to travel is going to be expressed, but I think it might be put off a little bit till the end of this year and into next year. But it's coming, okay?
Yeah.
And you're going to be really busy. I mean, Jupiter going through your 12th house is expanding you internally and expanding what you want. And then by the end of the year, September time, Jupiter will be on Uranus for you, which is the unexpected. So I also pay attention to health issues. And then when he gets going, let me see, I'm just trying to think. So about March of next year, it'll be a whole new expression, and there'll be a lot of work. And definitely pay attention to health issues, though, for you. I want to stress that because Saturn will be squaring Virgo, and you have a Virgo rising, and you also have Uranus and Pluto at that point. So start paying attention to your health issues now and maybe get on top of them if you can, okay?
Any particular health areas? I'm pretty healthy.
Joints and, definitely heart. Leo energy is the heart, but Saturn in Aquarius in your house of health is ankles and joints. So there could be, and I have to say goodbye. We're going to be cutting off. I'm just going to say goodbye to everyone real quick. Anyway, listen in archives if you miss the end of the show, and we'll see you next week. And Tricia, the Saturn energy is going to be is triggered. Actually, you have Jupiter directly opposite Saturn right now, and then he's going to be on top of Mars. And so let me see if there's anything else triggering right away. I mean, there isn't anything other than Neptune going through your house of health, but that could also give you some foot issues or ankle issues. Do you have any joint issues?
No,
and it seems to be thyroid. Seems to be, I have to tell you, because it's one of the hormones in the body, and personally, I think the Neptune water energy is connected to that. So I would also encourage you to maybe look into some iodine therapy, not iodine therapy, like go out and self-treat, but if you could add it into your diet. Sea salt, Himalayan sea salt, has more in it, and it's more of a healthy version of iodine. And so, I'm taking
all the thyroid supplements.
So you're already ahead of the game. And then Uranus and Virgo, again, Uranus rules Aquarius, where your Saturn is in the house of health. And it's in Virgo, which rules that house. So definitely there's a connection to ankles and joints. And also, when Jupiter gets across your Pluto rules reproductive organs, so there's a connection again to like ovaries and uterus, stuff like that. So it could also be hormonal down there as well. So again, like the lady who called earlier, T2, look into T2, and the same video I recommended to her from A Place to Heal is the name of her YouTube website. You can find more information, just type in thyroid, Place to Heal on YouTube. Okay?
All right. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I had a dream, and my dream had told me the only words it said was Saturn conjunct Venus, and I don't know what that meant. I don't know what's going to happen there.
Saturn conjunct Venus means ownership of desires and feminine nature. And, Saturn is karma, Saturn is the structure, Saturn is basically responsibility and ownership of those issues, and Venus is love and desire and femininity, and also the throat. So, all of that. So, it's taking ownership of your feminine nature, really.
Okay.
And it could be love, too. It could be the structure.
I was just wondering when that was going to happen. I know that the conjunct Saturn conjunct Venus won't happen for a while.
Well,